Welcome to the Market Engage Thrive podcast, where we help you navigate the online marketing and entrepreneurial jungle. If you love marketing, automation, and all things productivity, you're going to like it here. And now, here is your host, Sam Piccarello.
Welcome to another episode of the Market Engage Thrive podcast with moi, Sam Piccarello. This is episode 10 of season 1. I hope you've been enjoying the content so far. And make sure you check out last episode, that's episode 9. We had with Jessica Rodriguez from the daydreamachiever.com, where she shared quite a lot of knowledge bombs with us. And she has been in business for some time, and she's doing extremely well in her current business, as she has in her past businesses as well. And she shared with us quite a bit of information, mindset stuff, but the biggest takeaway there was the 3-step process that she uses to systemize her daily business activities to make sure that you are focused on business growth and not just the admin, keep them busy, the time filler activities or scrolling through Facebook or Googling or reading articles or whatever it is that we sometimes do where we get lost. So she has come up with a system that she uses for her business, and she shared a resource with us. So make sure that you go back to the episode and check out the show notes, and you can find her resource there. Go check it out. She broke down the whole process that she uses to make sure that she stays focused on business growth while doing the other, behind the scenes admin stuff that she does and serving her clients. Today, we're going to be talking about turning your shoulds into wants, or better still, it's called stop shoulding all over yourself. So do you know what you should be doing today to move yourself or your business forward? This applies to really business and life. It doesn't really matter. So do you know what it is that you should be doing today? So a big answer is probably yes, I know what I should be doing. And I would ask you, well, how many of the shoulds have you gotten accomplished today? Your answer would probably some of it, maybe not all of it. And that's what I want to talk about, is the shoulds and the resistance that we all have with the shoulds, and how we can turn those shoulds into actual motivating statements instead of just something that was imposed on us. So I want to just talk first about the shoulds and where they come from, and how the conversations that I've had with various people, online business owners or just personal friends, and how the shoulds really affect their motivation and their output. And quite often the shoulds, we were raised being told what we should be doing. You should behave a certain way. You should dress a certain way. You should get certain grades. I'm all for good grades. I have children. And, you should go to college. You should go get your degree. You should graduate. You should. So there are these standards that are imposed on us. That's in personal lives. In business, it's when you listen to a lot of experts, a lot of gurus, a lot of service providers like myself, and they tell you what you should be doing, and you know it. Quite often I speak to people and they're asking me to solve a particular problem for them, and 99% of the time they already know. They've heard it before somewhere. Somebody's already told them what they should be doing. They just haven't done it. And that's because the shoulds are really an obligation, an external obligation. If you think about the shoulds, it's just somebody who told you what you should be doing. And most likely, if you have any resistance, or if you have things that you have on your list that you should be doing, but you haven't been able to do them, then I ask you to really think about why you haven't done them. Is it because you haven't bought in? Because that's usually the case with the shoulds, because there's somebody else's rules that have been imposed on you, or there's somebody else's systems have been imposed on you, somebody else's model when it comes to business, or just something that somebody else has told you that you need to be doing, and the reason why you're not doing it is most likely because you haven't bought in. So how do we turn those shoulds into wants? Because that's when you're going to get them done, is when you turn them into I want to do this versus I should be doing this, but I just don't feel like it today, so I'm just going to do this instead, which happens very often when we lose hours, sometimes days, because we're just not motivated to do that thing. Or even if we do it once, we're not motivated to do it again and again and again. And in business, a lot of the stuff that we do is repetitive, like this podcast, for example. I should record an episode. No, I want to record an episode. And sometimes what I would do if the time is not quite right for me, or I just don't feel inspired to record an episode, then I will find a way to inspire myself to come and record this. Not because it's a chore, but because sometimes we are required to do some things at a particular time where we're just not feeling it, because I was maybe in the middle of doing something else that I was really caught up in. I was in a state of flow and I didn't want to stop doing that so I can come and do something else. So how do you go about changing your shoulds into your wants? So the first step is really to think about the shoulds. Who told you that you should be doing that thing? And if it is you're just copying somebody else, then I urge you to stop, because there is no validation, there's no thought process. Just because somebody else is doing the thing, and especially if they're successful, sometimes we think just because we look at people who are doing much better than we are, that maybe we idolize, so we need to take everything they do and then adapt it. But we're not the same people. We don't have the same business. We don't have the same goals. And we don't have the same mindset, the same experience, the same anything. Everybody's different. Everybody's a special snowflake. I don't care what anybody says. We're all different. So if you are just taking on the shoulds from somebody else, then I urge you to write them down and then really set time aside and ask yourself a question. Why is it that I feel like I should be doing this? I did a Facebook Live video about this earlier this week, so that's why I want to do a podcast too. I wish I recorded that because I wouldn't have to double task it, but I'll have more ideas as I'm talking through it now. But ask yourself the questions. Why is it do I feel like that I should be doing this? So this is the list. I should. So I should do this because of what? Ask yourself why one time. So I gave the example of weight loss in the Facebook Live video, so I'll just use that again because I thought through it already. So if we have, I need to lose 40 pounds, then you ask the person, you ask yourself, why do I need to lose the 40 pounds? They say, well, because I feel overweight, or I feel ugly, or I feel like I have a lack of energy, or I feel like I don't look good in my clothes, or I feel unsexy, whatever your reasons may be. And then follow that up with another why. So why do you feel unsexy? Why do you feel like you lack energy? And then you go through this process, and really what you're going to get to at the end, and you ask the why 2, 3 times, 4 times, however many, because you're just forcing yourself to dig deeper into the reason why you've taken on this should. Because we're not dismissing all the shoulds in the world, because there are people out there who know a lot more than you do. People who have a lot more experience, people who have a better perspective than we do. So we have to be open to advice and recommendations, but we also have to make sure that we buy into those recommendations instead of just robotically copying what somebody else is doing. So ask yourself the whys, and then usually when you're going to get to the why, you're going to get to the end of the whys using the weight loss example. The why is because the person, they want to be healthier, or they want to look better in their bathing suit, or they want to blah, blah, blah. That's what you're going to get to. So usually you're going to start with the should and then the why, and it's going to be a complaint and negative and negative and negative. And then you're going to get to the ultimate goal, the vision, right? We talk about vision in business and the why, but not the why the way I heard it discussed, but your personal why you doing what you're doing. And when you get to that why, that's when you're going to have it framed as a want, right? So when it becomes a want, and then you become more driven to do the thing. And if you can't justify something on your list, then that needs to go, because it has to align with your vision, of course, and you have to feel compelled to do it. If it does not jive with who you are as a person, if it does not feel good to you, if you're not motivated, if you're not energetic about doing it, then you need to think about why that is, why you don't feel the energy when you're doing the thing, whatever it may be, and dig deeper and ask yourself these questions, because then you will most likely unearth a lot of answers and a lot of just your inner feeling, your inner dialogue, your intuition really telling you why you shouldn't be doing the thing that you felt like you should be doing. When it comes to business, the shoulds, we have them. Everybody has them. We look at something, we take a course, we take a program, and it's like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. But I really encourage you to buy into it. Buy into the thing that you said you would do, because that's how you're going to make sure that you continually do it day in, day out, if it's a repetitive task. An example is, some people will say they're really introverted. They don't like being in groups. And now with workshops and webinars, it's a huge thing. So a lot of people will have to deal with a lot of anxiety around that. And so that's when, that's an example where you need to sit and ask yourself, why do I feel that way? Because I'm anxious. So why do you feel that way? Well, because I just don't like being in front of big groups. And why do you feel that way? Well, because I might mess up. And why do you feel that way? And you can just keep digging and digging and digging until you get to the real answer. And then that will, not the real answer is an excuse. Of course, when you get to your whys, you have to judge them. Whether are they valid excuses? Not an excuse. A valid answer, or just a lame excuse, because there's never a good excuse. They're all lame, so we'll call them for what they are. And and that's how you're gonna get to the answer, and that's how you're gonna decide what is it that I am gonna be doing that I want to do. Because the line of questions will lead you to the want, why you're doing what you're doing. And you say, because I want this, or I want that, or I'm doing the workshop because I want to build a better relationship with my base, with my audience. That's why you're doing it. So once you have that, then instead of having a list of shoulds, you're going to have a list of wants, because this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be doing, because this all is alignment with my bigger vision, my bigger mission in this business, in this world, in this life, or whatever it is. So that's how you deal with your shoulds. And that spills over into just about everything in life, obviously, because, we're no different in business than we are in life. And, I talked about the eating healthy, the weight loss, the spending time with family, the cleaning the house, for example. And I'm a mom, I have kids, we have to keep a decently clean house, because otherwise it gets out of control with the dogs and the cat and all that crazy stuff. But instead of it being I should clean the house, it's more about, well, when the house is really clean, I feel really good. I like it when it's really organized, not crazy organized, but when things are tidied up, things are put away, we don't have dog hair on the carpet, clean it. And so I don't approach it from the I should, but I approach it from the I want, because I know what the end result would be. So that's what this exercise is going to help you do, is to help you see the end result and keep that in front of you, front and center, and that will keep you motivated to do the things. And clearly, as I said earlier, is that the things that don't line up, that don't align with your bigger vision, with your purpose, with clean house. If you don't feel good when you have a really tidy house, then I don't think you have the motivation to clean your house. Maybe you just hire somebody to do it, right? I have my kids, they clean most of it because they're older and they help and they make money from it. So that works for them. But if you're not motivated by it, then obviously that's something that you're not going to be doing. So why even have it on the list as a should? I'd rather go pay somebody to do it, or if it's business related activity and I'm just not compelled to do the thing, and as much digging as I've done, I just cannot justify it because it's just does not jive with who I am, is not in alignment with who I am as a person, then I really have to reconsider what I'm doing. I have to reconsider why. I have to consider any alternatives to the thing, the shoulds. Another example we could use as well is live video. Live video in social media is huge now. It's just nobody cares. Not nobody cares, but video is a lot bigger, a lot better. You connect better with your audience compared to just text posts. If you do rely on social media, which you should be, to engage with your audience. So video is big. But a lot of people have a lot of resistance around doing video because they feel self-conscious. Maybe they don't have the confidence. Maybe they feel like they need to look better. They need to look polished. They need to have more to say about, or they worry about people not going to show up. So it's a statement, I should be doing live video. Or maybe, and that happened to me, is that they didn't really feel that compelled about their message, the thing they were talking about on video. And that used to happen with me. I used to get very tactical about the how-tos of things because I like tech, I like technology, so I used to geek out. But I just didn't feel compelled to do it because it was cold, it was clinical, it was just, you can go find that on YouTube, to be honest with you. Literally, you could go just Google whatever software you want to learn how to use and you can figure out how to use it, or hire somebody to teach you how to do it. So that's the resistance that I've had with video, not because I was self-conscious, but I would never go on video without makeup on. But it's just me. I wouldn't go to the store without makeup on. I just feel more, it's a habit. I feel more awake. I feel better, more energy when I'm all dolled up and look good, feel good. That's what I believe in. If you look good, you feel good. So that's what I do. So for me, video, not so much about the makeup and the hair. I do that every day anyway, but it was more about the message. My message, it was not compelling to me. So the video was a should for me. For other people, they just feel like there's going to be nobody watching them. So it's going to be lonely and boring, and they feel like a loser because there's nobody there. But they don't realize that people will come, even if they find you 6 months down the road, they're going to go and check out your videos and they're going to watch them. So it's not like a once and done deal. So again, that's where you have to ask yourself, why is it? Why is it? And it took me a while to dig through and figure out why that is. Why did I not? Because I don't have a confidence issue. And so why was I not really committed? Why was I not consistent with the video, with the live streaming? And eventually I got to the answer. The answer is that I just was not feeling the topics that I was talking about. So I'd rather be more inspirational, more motivational, more mindset kind of discussion like I'm having with you right now, instead of here's how you set up your sequences in Ultraport, and you should have these sequences, and you should have that, and you should have this. Yeah, it's exciting. I like it because I'm good at it, but it does not really inspire me. And I need to do something that inspires me. So it's the same thing for you. Whatever it is that you have on your list as a should, then you need to go through and ask yourself the questions, especially the ones you feel like you know that you're dropping the ball on all the time. Then go through the list and judge each one. Why is it that I'm not doing this? Why? Why do I feel like I should be doing this? And then go through the line of questioning and then get to your answer. And hopefully your answer will be something that will help you feel more compelled, more motivated, more inspired to do the activity. Now, in business, we have, especially online business owners, because those are the ones that I speak to, there are a lot of things that we need to do. It's part of business. Not everything is confetti and unicorns. There are things that we need to do. They may not be that much fun, but they need to be done. So it's up to us to find the inspiration and motivation to do the work. Right? So the fun part for me is talking to people. The fun part for me is to write. The fun part for me is obviously serving the clients and having discussions. And that's the most fun, is when I talk to people. But there's a bunch of other things that have to be done. The podcast is fun. I enjoy it. The after recording part, the editing and all that stuff, that's not really much fun. That's actually pretty boring. But it's one of those things. So I'll have to go find somebody who's going to do it for me, because the inspiring part is me talking. The back end stuff, that doesn't really inspire me. So I've hired somebody who's going to start doing it for me. I think in 2 weeks he's going to start. So that's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. So I don't have to drop this activity, but definitely the back end stuff I don't need to do. So go through and see what is it that you have resistance, comes up for you when you're running a business. But there are things that we have to do all the time. They may not be that inspiring. For example, the podcast, as I said, I can hire somebody, and I have, but up to this point I have not, because I wanted to figure out how to do it myself, because it's just me. Sometimes you just have to invest in people to do the work for you that does not inspire you. If it's going to suck the energy out of you, let it go. Give it to somebody else to do. But if it's activities that you need to do, that your business depends on, then you need to find a way to inspire yourself, to motivate yourself, and to energize yourself to do the work day in, day out. If you can't, then maybe you're not doing the right work. That's an example. Maybe you're not in the right line of work, or maybe you just need to do a lot more soul searching, a lot more thinking, digging around, just figuring out why that is. And the best way really to get started with that is to stop looking at everybody else, because that brings up a lot of hesitation for a lot of people. They start second guessing themselves, and that really breeds inconsistency, because they start doing one thing and then they see somebody else doing something else, and then they stop doing what they were doing and move on to another thing, because that thing they haven't made a habit yet, so it's still kind of hard for them to do. So it's very convenient to just drop it and then start doing the other thing. So there's a few things that you can do, but the simplest really just to ask yourself why, and really not have shoulds in as part of your daily activities. There's nothing that you should be doing. There are just things that you want to be doing. And then it's up to you to dig and investigate and ask questions and judge yourself. Now, be like a judge and jury, really. Just ask the questions, get the answers, and then evaluate the answers and see what they mean to you and for your business as well. And then make a decision based on that. Does this stay, or does this have to go? Or what can I do to make it more pleasurable, more inspiring for me? Another example I could give you is the writing. I write in the mornings. If I leave it past 11 a.m., not going to happen. So I need to write in the mornings. I know that some mornings I don't feel like it, but I just find a way to just get started. You find a way. Once you get in the habit of kind of inspiring yourself to get started, then you will, and you can always tap into that whenever you have some resistance, or you just want to do something else, or your mind is tired. You just start doing, and then you kind of get into a flow. So because I'm aware that if I don't write first thing in the morning, it's not going to be done. So I know the consequence because I've done it a number of times, and I told myself, oh, I'll do this in the afternoon, and it just did not get done. And, nobody died. The world didn't stop, didn't end. But that was counterproductive for me because I need to get that done at a particular time. So that's just an example for you. And one thing that I skimmed over earlier when I was discussing your vision for what you do, because that will guide a lot of your decisions and really help you be inspired and motivated. And, you've probably read the book, Why, Your Why, or The Why, I can't remember the name of it, but everybody's been talking about it for a couple of years as if it was like a novel idea. But it is a great book, is that if you are unsure about your why, that will help you tap into that. Figure out what is your selfish vision, right? Because I think we're human, we're more motivated. And I will argue that. If anybody says the opposite, I will argue it till I turn blue. But we're more motivated by selfish reasons than we are for, goodwill and serving the world and all of that stuff. So think about your vision, but think about the portion of it, the selfish part of your vision. Why is it you're doing what you're doing? Because that will also help get you motivated, and then go into the vision for your business and so on, and then get a vision or get an idea of your future, because that will motivate you, especially if your business is going through hard times right now, or it's not growing as fast as it should be growing, or business is up and down. We all go through that, and it's perfectly normal, nothing to feel bad about. But if it's sucking the motivation out of you, then going through the vision exercise and figuring out why you're doing what you're doing, what is it that you want to get out of this, and what does your business look like in a year's time, what does it look like in 5 years' time, and that should help get you motivated, because that kind of helps you justify the hustle, because you're working towards something. Because days get long, weeks get long. Sometimes some weeks are pretty hectic. Some weeks are very easygoing. Some weeks we have to deal with some negative stuff. Some weeks are just awesome. They're just flowing and they're beautiful, unicorns and confetti. But you're going to have the hard weeks, and that's why it's always good to be clear on your vision, and then also be clear on your long-term goal, and then keep that front and center. And I think I mentioned that in a couple of episodes where I talk about you have to keep, I'm not talking vision board, although they're good. You can have a vision board if you want, but you have to find an exercise where you can revisit your vision on a regular basis to keep you motivated, because you will hit a wall, because it's just part of business and life, and then you will sometimes question your abilities, sometimes you will question your work, sometimes you will question your decisions. So that's why sometimes you question your worth, because sometimes some things can happen, they can be pretty negative. It's just how it is. Or sometimes, and it doesn't necessarily have to be negative feedback, it could be just something you put out there that you had no response to. That's when your vision really comes in and be a tool to keep you motivated and keep you clear on why you're doing this. Because as you create your vision, you realize that it's not going to happen overnight. So that's going to keep you in check and keep you kind of thinking logically and not getting too emotional about what's happening right now. And that will also help you with the shoulds, because we shouldn't have any shoulds, right? You don't want shoulds on your list. Well, I would love, my ideal work list is a want. And sometimes I do catch myself saying should, because it's a word in the English language and we've used it forever. And I still tell my children, you should be doing this. You should take the dog for a walk because it's going to get dark in a minute. It's just part of our language. But I'm just talking about it from a mindset standpoint, is if you feel like you're having resistance, or there are some things that you do feel like they will contribute to your growth, but you're just not getting to them because they're shoulds on your list, then go through them and turn them into wants. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this. I don't want you shoulding all over yourself, because that's not fun. Ideally, in a perfect world, you should have a list. should. See, I'll just say that again. You want to have a list of wants in front of you, right? So it'll be a list of things that you are excited about doing, that you want to do, that energize you, even if they're boring, because you know, I'm going to do it. It's going to get done because it's moving me forward to accomplish this goal that is part of my bigger vision. So that's all I have for you today. If you've enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe. Make sure, more importantly, leave a review because it helps us in the search, in the ranks within iTunes, and more people will be able to see the podcast, and that will keep me motivated to keep sharing my information that will help other people as well. So if you like it, make sure that you do review. Just give us some stars, give us some words. And if you would like to join the community, feel free to jump over to sampicarello.com/group. The link will be in the notes, so you can jump over there and join us. So thank you for your time. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and I will catch up with you again later. Take care. Bye.